Greetings, good people. I am Simon Stengel, aka the Mad Priest of Vredendorp, coming to you from the Chapel of Perseverance in Vredendorp. Today we're going to handle a rather controversial subject entitled How to Hear the Voice of God. Of course, the joke is, when I speak to God, it's prayer. When God speaks to me, I'm schizophrenic. That's one of the reasons why I published a book entitled Schizophrenic Dialogues with God. It's online, Kindle. Get a copy of it because it's really interesting. It's about 100 or 99 dialogues that took place across 20, 30 years in my attempts to hear the voice of God. So I'm something of an authority, if you like, on how to hear the voice of God and how to become delusional. Most people who think that God is speaking to them are usually delusional. I know for a fact that I've had so many Christians tell me God spoke to me about this, God spoke to me about that, and it's almost always a case of delusional, dissociative disorders and stuff. Anyway, let's start with the 5 points on how to hear the voice of God, how I have interpreted this over the last 50 years of my Christian walk. Firstly, most importantly, meditate on the scriptures daily, and that means the Gospel of St. John, the epistles like Romans, Hebrews, Galatians, Ephesians, etc., etc. 2. Once you have made a decision based on the scriptures, sense whether there's a green light or a red light in your spirit. 3. Call upon more experienced Christians to advise you or guide you. Number 4. Become aware of the synchronicities or coincidences in your life once you make the right decision, once you make a decision. And 5, and lastly, listen to the still small voice. In 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 12, this is possibly one of the most iconic descriptions of how God speaks. After the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a still, small voice. And that's how I have always perceived God speaking to me, if that is how He spoke to me at any time during the 50 years of my Christian walk. Now, let's start with meditating on the scriptures. Most importantly, meditating on the scriptures allows the Logos, the written word, to become Rhema, so as to actually clarify what you're trying to do. So certain scriptures while you're reading will come alive, they'll stand out. I've found this to be true time and time again. As you meditate, as you read through them, some scriptures will come out, and you may not have noticed them for the first time. It's one of the things about the Logos being encrypted, in that it comes alive when a decision is being sought after. The scriptures guide you. Once you have decided on a course of action based on the scriptures, you then, number 2, sense the green or red light in the spirit, what they used to call the check in the spirit. So if you make a decision and there's a check, there's a sense of dis-ease, you know that that's not the right way. When you get a sense of peace, you know that this is the right decision to take. A sense of peace is something that cannot be counterfeited. It's almost always God speaking to you and giving you a sense of peace. Number 3, call upon experienced Christians to confirm what you're trying to decide to do. Why I say call on other people is because the witnesses of other people around you generally give you an idea, and it's mostly common sense. If I can be quite blunt about this, hearing the voice of God is usually just common sense. It's a gut feeling. It's what is, do I want to buy this car? I can't afford it. No. Do I want to sell this house? It's not the right time to sell. No. So it's usually the common sense that comes from the people around you. Number 4, once you have made a decision and you know and you start to get a sense that, yes, it's true, this feels right, become aware of the synchronicities in your life. The synchronicities are basically coincidences. Now, God is present in your life through coincidences. I believe coincidences are God's signatures in your life. They are how God shows you. Now, how do I know this to be coincidences? For instance, number one, numbers in your life. The numbers in your life start to add up. For some reason, 888s, 3s, 7s, you start to see patterns in numbers. It happens time and time again. If you're driving, your traffic lights will always be green. It sounds crazy, I know, but it's true. If all your lights are green, you know you're actually in the frequency of synchronicities. If you arrive home and the phone rings at exactly the right time, if you have exactly the right amount of money, coincidences are always an indication that God is working in your life and showing you the right direction. And finally, and absolutely the final opportunity you might have to hear the voice of God is the actual still small voice. And I usually find that if I fast for a couple of days and then I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, the best time to hear God speaking to you, 3 o'clock in the morning. Meditate, be absolutely still, be still and know that I am God. That's what the scriptures say. You will hear the still small voice showing you. And it's usually a very commonplace. It's not a trumpet voice. It's usually, son, just relax, go to sleep. I've got you. I got your back. Everything's fine. You've made the right decision. Don't worry about it anymore. Let it go. Let me take control of your life. That's how God speaks. In a very commonplace, commonsensical voice that is usually the still, small voice in your spirit. Now, He might show you with impressions, with dreams, with images in your mind, or what I often find, a sense that I have attained something supernaturally. Like if I'm looking for work, God, are you showing me something? Am I getting some work? That still small voice or that impression that I get, that sense of, yes, the job is coming. That's how God speaks to you. Now, do not be delusional. Do not become schizophrenic. Understand that God wants to speak to you and that you must do so in the commonsensical way possible, so as not for you to become completely out of your bloody mind. Okay? That's all I have to say. Goodbye.